When was the last time you told a family, with clarity, confidence, and conviction, why the certified educators inside your public school buildings are one of the most powerful reasons to choose your school? Well, if you paused before answering, you're not alone. And that pause may be costing your community more than you realize. Here's what tends to happen in too many school systems. Leaders work tirelessly to build programs, market offerings, and update facilities, yet leave one of their greatest strengths nearly unspoken. The excellence of their certified, qualified, committed educators sits quietly in classrooms every single day while the school choice conversation rages loudly outside. Leaders assume that the presence of credentialed professionals is self-evident. They believe families will naturally connect the dots between state certification and classroom quality. They trust that commitment will be visible without ever being named. That is the gap. And in today's education landscape, silence is not neutrality. It is a missed opportunity. Families are not asking abstract policy questions when they consider where to enroll their children. They are asking a deeply personal question. Who will teach my child? And if traditional public schools do not answer that question with specificity and story, other voices will step in with a louder, simpler narrative. The right answer is not a defensive one. It is a confident, research-grounded, story-rich one. State certification requirements are not administrative formalities. They represent a rigorous process through which educators demonstrate command of content knowledge, understanding of how children learn, competency in instructional design, and commitment to professional ethics. You see, a certified teacher has been prepared to meet students at the intersection of where they are and where they need to be. And that preparation is not accidental. It is earned. Linda Darling Hammond's decades of research affirm that teacher preparation and certification are meaningfully connected to student outcomes. Her work reminds us that what happens before a teacher ever walks into a classroom shapes what is possible once they do. I learned the weight of that truth in a personal way. When my former district launched a leadership development pipeline, I had the privilege of teaching several courses designed to grow aspiring leaders. But one course became especially meaningful to me. It was designed for committed educators who had completed all the required coursework, but needed focused, individualized support to pass the program's final exam. These were not people who lacked talent or drive. They were people who needed someone to meet them where they were, to invest in their growth with the kind of intentionality that credentialed programs at their best are built to provide. Because they had already met the core requirements, I was free to move beyond a standard curriculum and zero in on each person's unique needs. I worked closely with them, strengthened their knowledge, and built their confidence. And guess what? Every single one of them passed. More than that, every single one of them went on to become a successful school administrator. That experience taught me something I have not forgotten. When preparation meets personalized investment, remarkable things happen. And that is precisely what certified educators in traditional public schools bring to children every single day. Certification is not a ceiling. It is a floor, a foundation of preparation upon which a committed professional continues to build year after year. But preparation alone does not fully capture what makes certified public school educators special. There is something beyond the credentials that deserves to be named. They're choosing. Yes, they're choosing. Many educators in traditional public school buildings teach in the same communities where they were raised, where they are raising their own children, or where they have chosen to build their lives. They coach the same recreational leagues their students play in. They worship at the same congregations. They shop at the same grocery stores. They know the history, culture, struggles, and possibilities of the places they serve. And they show up, not because the compensation package lured them from somewhere else, but because the calling anchored them right here. Eric Hansack's research demonstrates that the difference between a highly effective teacher and an ineffective one is among the largest determinants of student learning, and that this effect compounds over the years. A child fortunate enough to be taught by several excellent teachers in a row experiences dramatically different academic trajectories than peers who were not. That finding should not remain locked in academic journals. It belongs in every conversation school leaders have with families about why traditional public schools are worth choosing. So what does it look like to communicate this well? Well, it means telling the story of the teacher who grew up in the neighborhood she now teaches in, who recognized a struggling student's home situation because she once navigated something similar herself. It means introducing families to the educator pursuing national board certification, not because it is required, but because he believes his students deserve that level of refinement in his craft. It means naming publicly and proudly that the professionals inside your classrooms have met standards that matter and have then chosen to exceed them. The Learning Policy Institute's work on teacher recruitment and retention reinforces that intentional investment in teacher quality and stability produces measurable gains in student achievement, with low-income students benefiting most significantly from access to experienced, fully credentialed educators. That is a justice argument as much as it is an academic one. Traditional public schools do not get to choose which students walk through the door. They welcome everyone. And they staff their classrooms with professionals prepared to serve everyone, not just the students whose families can pay for selective access. As John Dewey, perhaps the most endearing voice in American educational philosophy, once wrote, "Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself." Think about that. The educators who have answered the public school calling understand this instinctively. They are not simply teaching subjects. They are not just teaching content. They are shaping futures in communities they love. So here is the call to action, and it is a direct one. Do not wait for the next enrollment season to start telling this story. Begin now. Walk the hallways of your buildings and see them through a parent's eyes. Introduce your certified educators not just as staff members, but as trained, credentialed, community-rooted professionals. Create opportunities for families to understand what it actually means for a teacher to have earned state certification, what they have studied, what they practice, and what they prove and provide before they ever taught your child. And if your messaging about teacher quality has been vague or altogether absent, change that this week. Your educators deserve to be known. Your families deserve to be aware and to know them. And your community deserves a school system that leads that conversation with confidence rather than ceding it by silence. So, who on your leadership team will own the responsibility of telling this story? And how will you start this week?